In today's video, I'll review the five most common multifamily asset classes. There's a lot of confusion as people talk about different classes of multifamily and how people should think about the risks and opportunities associated with these various classes. So today I wanted to provide you with a video where we break down and sort of show you how we think about these various asset classes. While the asset classes we have defined here are broken out fairly neatly, I'll tell you there is a lot of overlap, and I'll give you some example of where I encounter overlap and how I think about that overlap within these classes. From our perspective, there are five main classes of multifamily assets: Class A, B, and C, student housing, and senior housing. Student and senior housing both have multiple subcategories within those categories, but these are really the five main categories. As we think about Class A, B, and C, the main difference between these classes is typically age of construction and overall design and amenity set. Typically, Class C, and you might even hear terms Class D, really refer to the oldest subset of multifamily properties. These are typically properties built pre 1985 and really even more focused pre 1980. They're going to be mostly garden, meaning they're going to have a walk up construction type to them. And the interiors are going to be very dated. There may or may not have washers and dryers included. And these are going to be your lowest overall rents in the marketplace. While these properties can be very banged up, the Class C properties, they do perform very well, and they historically over the last 10 years have generated the highest returns for investors in multifamily asset classes. Class B is going to be newer properties. So these are really the properties kind of pre 2005 and after Class C. They're where Class B will creep in on Class A is really around newer garden style construction. But in general, Class B is going to be that kind of middle of the road product. It's going to be middle rents between Class A and Class C. And you're going to have a lot of amenities that you see at Class A. They just might not be as nice. And Class B, you're going to typically have washers and dryers in the units, and the build outs of the units are going to be fairly nice, and the properties are generally pretty well maintained. The finishes might be dated in the units, but overall, they're going to have a more modern feel than what you saw in the original Class C properties. Then finally, we have Class A. Class A is really a very large category. And really, Class A probably should be broken into Class A plus and Class A minus. And this gets into the overlap I was discussing before. In urban core markets now, you're seeing the evolution of super luxury A plus. Typically, these are going to be high rises with resort style amenities, very high end. Uh, Finishes are going to be moderate though within the units usually. Too high end. They can vary, but the amenities are going to be very well built out, and they're going to be very sophisticated. Now, the alternative to the high rise A plus is you have a lot of garden style new construction that is classed as Class A. And this is where these against Class B can clash because really they're both Class B plus or Class A minus. They look very similar. They can even have similar build outs on the interiors. But these are generally are excellent housing, high quality, well maintained. And these are going to typically be in more suburban locations, but they can be in urban locations as well. The tenant profile of all three classes of A, B, and C also vary. Typically, Class A is going to have more upper income or apartment by choice. Class B and Class C are going to be more working class, middle class, and single parents. And then we see a lot of elderly residents who don't require medical assistance in Class C, uh, and it was well in Class B. And that's a good segue into senior housing. Senior housing is simply apartments for senior citizens. These are going to be all adult only communities. And really, the main two factors that differentiate it from normal apartments are going to be that there's an integrated medical service, usually within the property, and there's usually going to be an on site cafeteria or food service for residents of the property. Senior housing can vary from very high end to very low end. You have government subsidized all the way through ultra luxury. And then student housing has become a very hot section of development and investment in the last 10 to 20 years. So the main difference here is these are going to look like apartments. These are typically apartment complexes that are built within a mile or less of major universities. And the other main difference is that they're going to be built and operated on more of a per bedroom lease model versus a per unit model, like a normal apartment. The amenities are also changed a little bit, and the floor plans are a little bit different. So, student housing is going to have more floor plans that are built for non romantic roommates, non families. So, meaning that the bedrooms are going to be more evenly sized, the bathrooms are more evenly sized compared to what you see in an apartment, which in a multi bedroom apartment unit, it's usually a master or a main bedroom and a smaller bedroom. The student the student floor plans are going to be more balanced floor plans. So student housing's done well because there's lots of ways for students to be able to rent and pay for that housing in university affiliated programs. Um, there could be some potential risk because it has been very heavily built up. Uh, Particularly with COVID-19, we see this as a particular segment of multifamily that could have some risk exposure depending on how in person attendance continues to unfold at the overall university level. So, thank you for watching this video. This was a quick breakdown on the overall classes of multifamily assets. I'm Jordan Speaker, the managing partner and founder of Valor Capital LLC, and thank you for watching.